Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. We're back to talk about major shifts in the card market because, well, banned and restricted announcements make things happen, we'll say. And what kind of things happen? Well, cards tend to spike 800%. At least that's what the price says. So before we get started, don't forget comment, like, and subscribe. It's free to support the channel by subscribing and watching the video. Cool links in the description to other ways to support buying cards, whatever else. It's in there. Just go take a look. So, without further ado, let's get into the amazing price swings in the market. So, let's start off with the ban of violent outbursts. So, we already talked about this in the ban announcement video. So, go check that out if you want. But what's really funny about this is even with the banning of violent outburst in Modern, because of how much it was being played in Rhino decks and whatnot and what have you, because it's an instant, you can see here the actual price value of the foils really hasn't changed, and the price in general is still kind of going up. But here recently, it has kind of dropped down to about 240. It's only lost maybe dollar. We'll be generous. We'll say it's lost $2. So if it was rocking a high of $5, it lost $2, roughly 40%, not really 50. Sounds pretty drastic, right? But does it really contemplate? Or does it really constitute the fact that the card it takes its place has a 800% price spike? I mean, maybe, right? So, the card that's going to be taking the place of this, at least speculation and what people are using, is going to be Ardent Plea. It's an enchantment, does the exact same thing, exact same mana cost, but it also gives Exalted. And as you can see here, as of the announcement of the banning right here, Ardent Plea was kind of pretty well just okay. Same here, rocking about the $253 mark, kind of going down really, only because it's an enchantment, so it has to be played at sorcery speed. So obviously, Violent Outburst was better and became the mainstay. However, once Violent Outburst was banned, the sales of this card skyrockets up to $14.98 for a light played copy. Current market price is set at around $16.28. And the foil being about the same price, that's probably going to change fast, quick, and in a hurry because, if I had to buy one, I'd probably buy the foil if it's the same price. Just put that out there. But buyer beware. Just because there's this serious price spike doesn't mean it's going to stay this high. Now, it'll be this high probably for a couple days, maybe even higher, until people find out whether or not this is going to work in place of Violent Outburst. But if it does, ooh, daddy, it's game on. That may even drive the price of this higher if it finds out this was a better version of the card to begin with. Now, it's only a better version when you don't have an instant to use. That's just plain and simple. But at the same time, this is a white-blue, meaning your deck is no longer ground or centered around red-green for Violent Outburst. It's more centered around white-blue, which has the ability for better removal and counter spells. And that says a lot. Let's also not forget Ancestral Memories that you suspend is also has 0 casting cost. You could also hit that and draw 3 cards. Like, there's tons of good stuff to be played in blue and white. That could prove this to be a better part of the build. We will have to wait and see. But, let me scoot that up there for you. At the end of the day, not being an instant can make it that much worse, which would constitute using different colors. So, there is that. So, I know what some of you are going to say, but Captain, it's really not that much. When I looked to try to buy some of them, they're not that expensive. Well, if you look down here, you'll see medium played, $12.99. Now, if you actually go on there and look at the very first cards you can find, you're going to find cards that are cheaper because what you're going to see is, oh, Ardent Plea from Alaria Reborn is $6.91. The list reprint is only $9.99. But you'll notice the difference here in market price. It says $16.28. Over here, we've got $5.64. You have to remember, when you're looking at TCG Player, they list everything from high played to mint, and they take the average of all that to give you market price to some degree. But what the market price is normally based off of is somewhere around mint, near mint value is what they go for. So you may see, like back here, you may see $14.98, which means that's light played. So the first mint copy or near mint, what have you, may be $16.28. But what you're not going to see is on these here, what kind of cards you're really getting for $6.91. And that's the trick to TCG Player. A lot of people want to be like, oh, I'll pull up TCG Player and see what it's going for. Oh, they're $6.91. Everybody's lying. These aren't $16 cards. Well, if you actually go down to the list and you look at TCG Player, the first thing you're going to see, the first listing, look, it is $6.91. It's also heavy played. And then it also has $1.79 shipping, not included in that tax. Meaning, a heavy played, cheapest possible card you can get right now as a filming this video is, we'll do the math. That's, see, 10 carry the 1, 7 carry the 1 is $8.70 for a heavy played version of this card. And then, as you can see, that's the cheap heavy played. This heavy playd's over 10. This heavy playd's breaking 10. This heavy playd's $11.31. And moving on, they just get more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. So what we need to realize when we see things like this is TCG Player is going to tell you what the least expensive card is when you pull it up in the big view like this. But when you click on it, it's going to give you this view and tell you what the average light play version is, or maybe near mint for a couple of them, to show you what the real price is. Down here, this price will definitely always be near mint to mint, because it's the highest price. And at the end of the day, when you're like, oh, but it says $6.91, you'll find out $6.91 is for a heavy played with lots of shipping. And at the end of the day, it's really not as cheap as you think it is. And yes, it's really that expensive. So, food for thought, word to the wise. I didn't go through and look at the list reprint versions to see what was going on there. I'm going to assume $9.99 is probably the cheapest one there as well. It says market price $5.64, but here's the problem with that. Market price for something like that is often some of the last sale pricing averaged over a set number of time. I'm not sure how the TCG algorithm works it, but it's easy for a price to be higher than market price because of spikes like this. And the market price hasn't been adjusted because of how cheap the card was before, as it averages out as people buy the card up. So also keep that in mind. Best thing you do, go in there, find the one you want, click into here, find out what it really is, and then click over to here and go down and find out which value you want and what it really costs. There's a selector over on the side as well where you can go through and select heavy play, near mint only, light played only, or whatever you want, even foils. So word to the wise, be careful. Don't just rush in and start buying things up. Make sure you pay attention to what you're getting. But yeah, so this is the kind of implications that we can get from massive bans to a major deck. I think the price of this will come back down, just because this is an incredible spike. And the problem with it is nobody owned this card. It was never played in the deck. We got to remember Violent Outburst was played regularly, not just in the Rhinos version, but before that in Living End. So there were cards out there. They were constantly being bought and sold. The market knew they were out there, so they were readily available at a little bit cheaper price. Now, as people watch this video, along with others, they're going to start realizing, holy crap, all them ardent, how's it called? All them ardent pleas I got in my bulk bin are worth $20 in my common box somewhere in my closet. Let me go dig out those 7 or 8 I got and put them online for $20 a piece. And then with that massive influx, the price will slowly start going down as people start scooping up what they need to rebuild their decks. As the price stales, when people have all they need, it'll probably, I think, go back down to probably about a $10 to $5 card, much like Violent Outburst was. But there is a possibility that because nobody played this for so long, a lot of these cards got lost, destroyed, or whatever, and it may be a harder card to find than people think. So, with that said, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until next time, be kind, and as always, hope to see you across from the game table. The times we live in.